Hey, look,
Is that only on my end?
I think the rest of us saw it, just not him.
Yo,
so
Restream sucks right now, man. But yeah, you're in the rotation with Suncoast NORML.
awesome. Look, happy Sunday morning, everyone. Thank you for jumping in the rotation, as folks do each and every Sunday here, 10:45 a.m. across multiple platforms. You might be watching us on Facebook right now. Maybe you're tuned into YouTube. Hey, maybe you're on Twitch. If you want to catch up on past episodes of the rotation, you can visit our website, suncoastnormal.org, or you can even watch live on our website, again, suncoastnormal.org, each and every Sunday. But this Sunday, we're bringing you an amazing show. Unfortunately, our dear friend Gary Stein can't be joining us today, so we won't be having a segment of. We won't be having a segment of the G Spot, but we will most definitely be talking about some interesting developments that have happened in cannabis, and we'll be celebrating Florida's cannabis culture with the amazing folks from Swamp City Gallery and Lounge. So, just to kick things off, Carlos, why don't you go ahead and introduce our guests from Swamp City?
Well, thank you for letting me introduce them because I love these guys. So here's the thing. As many of you people know on the show, I'm in the hemp business. And here's the thing about a lot of people in the hemp business, that they don't actually go and get involved with what's going on in Tallahassee, with the politics behind things. They don't lobby things, and they don't tend to, and a lot of people in Florida tend not to do things right and not do it responsibly, and not realize that we've got a culture here that we're trying to promote. And these guys from Swamp City, the reason why Chillum and Swamp City are so close together is because we do things very, very similar, but we do different things in a very similar way. We really take this as a responsibility of the culture. We want to see this culture grow. We want to see this culture do the right thing. And these boys are up in Gainesville doing the best they can to provide that community with the education, the knowledge, and the hemp products that they need, to really to do better as a community. So this is Tyler, who's the owner of Swamp City, and Tony is his general manager. And Tony is a very cool guy because he argues with me about atheism, but we in a very, very fun and respectable way. And Tyler here, he's got some experience in the business out in Cali, and right, it's California, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so he's got some business out in Cali, some experience in the business out in Cali, and he came here back to Florida, which I believe is his home. Yep. His original home, and he came to make sure that this business was represented right. And he opened Swamp City Glass Gallery and Lounge, and he sells hemp and he sells fine cannabis art, and they're awesome. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys have a grand opening coming up, huh?
Well, yeah. If we were in Bob's Burgers world, I guess it would be. But there's a little joke going around because we relocated in the middle of the pandemic. Obviously, that wasn't part of the plan, but we did relocate to a bigger and better location, and we had another grand opening on our second anniversary. So I guess if we kept the joke going, this could be our re grand opening. But it is our third year anniversary bash is what we're calling it this year.
Yep.
And Tony knows a little bit more about all the ins and outs and everybody who's featured, so I'll let him take over from there. But basically, it's our third anniversary bash, and we're bringing anybody and everybody who wants to be involved in the cannabis community out for a great time.
So Let me ask you guys, Gainesville is a very important part of the history of cannabis culture in Florida, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of things that have happened there in the past. I kind of want to have you guys give a rundown of why Gainesville is so important to Florida's cannabis culture, and then we'll see how we're evolving it today.
Yeah, I guess I'll start there because.
Yeah, this is your hometown. This is your world. You were born and raised right out there off of Noonan's Lake. So this is your story, bro.
So Gainesville is a pretty green dot in north central North Florida. We're surrounded by some pretty conservative counties that do not tolerate cannabis in any shape or form.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah, exactly. So, Alachua County, I mean, not so much the county as a whole, but Gainesville and surrounding like High Springs and varying places like that. Gainesville, especially, has been a progressive green spot in the map. I mean, I was watching a video earlier today. Somebody tagged me in of the 1992 Hemp Fest in Gainesville, Florida. So I was only 5 years old there then, so I probably wasn't there. I don't know. I have to ask my mom. But to make a long story short, Gainesville is always been pro cannabis. Jody James and Propaganda and Florida Can were doing things back here in the early 90s before I was ever even in the picture, anything cannabis related. And then when I went out to California, I didn't really, I knew about Gainesville Green and everything, but that was a little bit past my time. Gainesville Green's heyday was in the 70s and 80s. I was born in 87. But when I went out to California and I told people I was from Gainesville, Florida, it was unanimous. Everybody wanted to know about the Gainesville Green, the Gainesville Green, the Gainesville Green. And it shocked me how many, like over in this huge, because that was kind of the epitome, California for culture, for cannabis culture, when I was in my 20s, because they went legal in 96. So, when I went over there, I was not expecting to hear people going, "What's up with the Gainesville Green, man? What's up with the Gainesville Green?" And so that's when I started doing like a deep dive into it and found a huge history. To make a long story short, I wouldn't even be around if it wasn't for Gainesville Green. My dad traveled down from New York after reading to go to college at University of Florida. After reading an article in Playboy magazine about the Gainesville Green down here, and he decided he wanted to come to UF to check it out. And then, one thing led to another, and he met my mom, and my mom was, hippie. She went to Eastside High School, we all grew up there on Noonan's Lake, and one thing led to another, and here I am. So, but
it's my understanding, because you brought up like everything that happened in Gainesville in the 70s. Like it was almost like this like hippie utopia. Like you kind of get that feeling.
Yeah,
I hear that it was a specific position that the police department played, that they knew that cannabis was illegal, but they just, for whatever reason, did not care.
Tolerated it.
They tolerated it, and it became like this crazy culture where like you said, that there was, the first California legalized medical marijuana in 1996. The first rogue dispensary in California, in San Francisco, opened in 92. And you're saying that you were at a hash bash in 92?
90. Hemp Fest.
Yeah,
down there in Bo Diddley.
This is Florida cannabis culture before the cannabis industry even had one foot in the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
crazy part is when you think about it and you look at it, actually it was that Hemp Fest and the history of the doobie tosser and stuff that actually kind of forced people's hands politically in Gainesville to actually get harsh for it for a little while. And then Tyler, since we've started going through the legalization process here, it's kind of, they've relaxed again. They're not like letting us walk around and dance in public or throw doobies down at the plaza again yet, but they're definitely being way more tolerant. And honestly, I'll speak personally, GPD has been quite cooperative with us in things here. So I can't say enough good things, and that's rare in this industry to say too many good things about the police, but GPD's got their shit together. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that kind of leads into where I wanted the conversation to go. And I want to talk about cannabis culture in Gainesville now and what Swamp City means to it. Like what is it like to be a part of cannabis culture in Gainesville right now?
Well, there's not many of us right, Tony?
All right.
I mean, besides the corporate side, now I will say Gainesville has more dispensaries per square mile, to my knowledge, than any city in the state of Florida. I think we've got 10 going on 11 right here in our little small town. So we do have a big cannabis uh, presence.
Community.
Yeah, our cannabis presence in a cannabis community. But as far as like somebody who's like a in the forefront, non-corporate, there's not
Mhm.
many businesses out there willing to stick their neck out. We know a lot of people who are behind the scenes,
Mhm.
but in as far as in our community, as far as pushing the envelope, and as far as sticking your neck out there and kind of taking the
That's
risk.
us.
That's us. But the community is bigger than it ever has been in Gainesville as far as cannabis community, and we're hoping everybody comes out for the anniversary because everybody's been cooped up for the past 18 months, and it's been hard on a lot of us because a lot of us are social beings, and a lot of us thrive off of human contact, especially people in the cannabis space.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to having everybody out, but the cannabis culture in Gainesville is thriving, and it's definitely coming back. People are starting to come back out now. Vaccines are out and stuff like that, and business has been going good, and we look forward to having that community back to what it was post COVID.
Yeah.
Cool.
The cannabis community in Gainesville has, some really very popular and famous advocates that maybe some folks don't really realize. But Tom Petty is from Gainesville and grew up in Gainesville. And, when you listen to his music, Last Dance with Mary Jane and some of his other songs, you really see that influence of Gainesville cannabis culture on his upbringing. So, to see a new generation of folks also embracing it is beautiful. And for you all to create a safe space where folks from the culture can come together and tell us more about your store and the lounge and what kind of products and services.
Finish your sentence. A place where people can come together safely within the confines of the law, and in my opinion, within the confines of the rules, because we have this thing called a privacy fence. So our patients medicate if they need to. We literally want people to know that this is not only safe for you to hang out, safe for you to talk cannabis. Say hello to Javier and Cannoli, everybody.
Hi, Javi. Hi, Cannoli.
We really, like when Tyler said, we put ourselves out there. We go to that next level, and I'm willing to have that discussion with anybody as to why ILO and Tyler and Javi and all of us. You got that card, medicate. We supply the privacy fence, so then you're not in public view, and that's the problem. Isn't that the problem? Not being in public view? We
Let
took
me
that
ask
away.
you guys. You guys have explained that there's a big corporate presence in Gainesville, but there's not a lot of little guys. And you guys are big guys. You guys are big guys like like me and Kiddo. But corporate cannabis is big business, and why do you think you guys are the only like little guys per se out there doing it?
Well, I think Tony touched on it earlier. It's just recently that the GPD has started to kind of loosen up their stance on it. When we smoked a 5-gram palm outside the other day on the front patio of the shop, and we were looking at each other, and I said, 5 years ago, not 10 years ago, 5 years ago, this would not have been something that I would have even considered in Gainesville, Florida. Going back 10 years ago, we were all hiding in the woods and hiding in in sheds and stuff. You wouldn't dare get caught with smoking cannabis out in the open or even in your own yard. I mean, I now, because of the medical laws and the slow progress, it's progress though. I'm not going to take that away. The slow progress that Florida has been making in the cannabis regulation part of it. Now I can smoke a joint in my front yard and not have to be worried about getting thrown in handcuffs because copyrights got it. We were actually smoking that palm together. It was 3 of us out there, and a GPD officer rode by on his bicycle 2 feet from us, gave us, "Hey, how you doing? Have a good day." "Yes, sir. Have a good day." I feel like with the local law enforcement here, as long as you're respectful and you talk to them in a decent way, they've been respectful for us. We had a young deputy come out probably about a month and a half ago because of a noise complaint of one of our events that we were having outside. And she said she didn't hear anything that was above normal, and she didn't even really need to get out of the car. And I assured her the only thing that she would ever find in our courtyard was a bunch of people getting stoned. And she said that's nothing she's worried about. And have a great day. And I said, okay.
Like, stop wasting my time. I got shit to do.
The most important thing I can say for people, and Tyler took a big chance opening this place, and we take chances every day with what we do and how we do it. But the community's responded well to it. You have to create, not only do you have to create that cannabis culture, but you also have to remember it as the business side of it as well. In a place like this, responsible culture, transparent culture gets you a very, very long way with your community. Don't be secretive. Don't try to hide things. Don't try to misdirect. Be upfront and honest with these people. Sit down with your local chief of police and stuff like this. Meet with them at your council meetings and stuff like that. Let them get to know you as a person and as a business person. That stuff is so important, because when they realize that you're in it for the right reasons and you're not just trying to flip a buck, they get behind you and they support you, and that is what we need in this culture more than anything. I have said, you've heard me say it on the political side, Kano, that the main way we're going to make our culture 100% acceptable is getting our own to police our own and be extremely transparent. When we get to that level, we're in.
Absolutely.
And that's what we push here at the store as well.
Well, I think that the opportunity to get politically active has made a difference. I mean, we have 11 municipalities or counties in Florida that have decriminalized, Alachua County being one of them. In Alachua County, they'll give you a citation rather than take you to jail for cannabis possession. Carlos and I, pushed hard in front of the Tampa City Council to get the same thing here. And I think that that's the first step, is just sitting down. It started with Carlos and I talking with the public defender many moons ago, and back in like 2014. And just trying to get the ball rolling, and then you got to engage your city council, you got to talk to the mayor, you got to get involved in that local politics that sometimes seems tedious, that seems like, oh, well, we're not going to make a difference, but you can, because city elections and county elections are decided by very small margins in many cases because of low voter turnout. So if you have a mayor that's not pro-cannabis, you can replace them with a pro-cannabis mayor, someone who's going to tell the cops, hey, don't go over there bothering those people. Focus on high crime areas. Focus on areas where people actually need to have a police presence, not somewhere where folks are just having a good time in a safe environment, and doing their best to follow the law. So.
Yeah, you guys, I want to apologize for our viewers and our listeners today that they can't. We're having issues with our software, and you guys can't see the chat. So everybody's there's a lot of love for you guys in the chat right now. Swamp City is the best in Florida. This gentleman, David Green, is looking for a place to hang out with other patients, and is wondering if the Swamp City is up for that. But you guys are getting a lot of love in the chat. Like, a lot of people in Florida seem to love you and are tuning in right now.
Yeah, we consider ourselves like the cannabis hub, in North Florida. So if you're a patient and you want to hang out with other patients, our big thing is and a lot of people aren't officially patients, and that's why we have the Relief Clinic located inside of our store. So if you want to make that step, you can. But for like-minded individuals that look at cannabis and music and art, with an open mind and an open heart, Swamp City is your lounge, and we do something every night of the week for you, whether it be a hip hop night, a jazz night, punk rock. We do it something for everybody, and that's our thing. We're the melting pot of Gainesville, and we want everybody of all colors and everything to come together. Just using cannabis as that catalyst to break down all these barriers that are more prevalent today than ever.
Well, you talked about the music and the art, and as a glass collector myself, I want to talk a little bit about art here. So your collection at Swamp City is insane. Like insane. Like Chillum has some pretty cool glass, but the shit you got. How long have you been collecting glass, Tyler?
So when I moved out into California, I quickly found my addiction for glass was
so I'm sorry to cut you off. So everybody knows what I'm talking about is water pipes. Tyler and myself both collect high-end, very artistic, handmade water pipes.
Yeah.
And Swamp City is an insane dealer of these
very,
pipes.
Very heady glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, Carlos, I gotta chime in, man. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I recall one time going to Swamp City and I saw this piece of glass that was so artistic. It was something like a dragon having sex with a bumblebee.
Actually, using two pieces that were setting side by side. There's the double-headed fire-breathing dragon. And then right next to it was the collab piece, which is the wasp on top of the rig with all the going crazy in the color theory. But yes, those are two of our biggest pieces in the shop.
Yeah, and the fact that Tony knew exactly what I was talking about just goes to show he knows his shit as general manager. So y'all go down to Swamp City, most definitely check out the glass if you're a connoisseur of art. But if you're a patient, the pipes are also functional, which is the most awesome part of all of it.
Yeah. This is all art you can smoke out of.
Absolutely. And another thing, I was just going to say another thing that I like to point out is, we got a lot of shops similar to us. Most people refer to them as head shops. They have rules. You can't say certain words. You can't refer to things a certain way. Another prime example of how Swamp City likes to lead the way, we don't serve any kind of tobacco-related products. We specifically use the lingo that everybody's told not to, because on our website and everything we do is everything in this building is for CBD and medicinal use only.
Very cool. Very cool.
We do not sell anything for tobacco use.
This is a good gauge of your collection there, Tyler. The most expensive piece I have at Chillum, it sells retail for $1,000, right?
Yeah.
What's the most expensive piece you got?
So we have one piece that's like a statement piece that we did our grand opening. We had 10 different artists come out and collaborate over 24 hours to make the piece. That piece is right around $25,000 if somebody wanted to buy it. But the most expensive retail piece at the shop, I would have to say, would be around $11,000.
Wow.
I think it's actually marked at 12, but we'd negotiate a little.
Yeah. If you came with cash, we could definitely talk money. But these are statement pieces. One of those pieces is the wasp that you're talking about, and another one being the fire-breathing dragon with a built-in torch. It has its own, it's what they call a torch tube. So it has a glass tank and medical valves. You actually fill a separate tank on that is made of glass. She's holding an egg. That egg gets filled with butane, and then she breathes fire, and the torch comes out of one mouth and heats up the tail, which holds the nail, and then you breathe out, and then the mouthpiece is on the other head. So,
that is the most gangster Game of Thrones shit I've ever heard. That is fantastic.
These are definitely statement pieces. Like, a lot of people look at us crazy when you're like, oh, I've got a hold on.
He's like,
cue the Game of Thrones music.
He's like, you put the dab in the banger, and then all of a sudden magic happens and a rabbit comes out of a hat.
That's about it.
But yeah, the those are statement pieces. You know, a lot of people when they hear that, I mean, even $1,000, I'm sure you get looks. $1,000 for a bong, you know, that happens every day.
One of the worst reviews we have is that we explained that a piece was $1,000 and we're like, yeah, expensive, huh? And some dude was like, oh, this guy thinks I can't afford $1,000, and it's like, why didn't you buy it?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, but people that are like ourselves that are in the glass industry, they understand because it is a true like culture within a culture. Like cannabis culture is one thing, but like the glass culture is a whole nother thing. Like, I mean, there's people out there. I mean, I just saw, a Sagan piece, this was months and months ago, and it was crazy because they sent part of the piece to the moon in a weather balloon and then came back down and then they got auctioned off and went for like $125,000. You know what I mean? And this is, like a 8
Whoa. Tyler, hold on. I got to stop you there. So our cannabis culture's come so far that they're sending bongs to the moon and bringing them back.
yeah, pretty much. Sending them into orbit at least. They sent it into orbit, had it come back down, GPS tracked it, then put it within the piece, put the moon inside of the piece and encased it. And yeah, 125.
I wish Gil Scott Heron was still alive so he could write a remix to his poem, Whitey's on the Moon, because we can't get legal cannabis, but bongs are on the moon. You know, I can't pay my doctor bill, but bongs are on the moon.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the back when to start off the original question, I guess we kind of went off on a little tangent. Back in
we do that here on the show. Yeah. We get into it.
Back on 2012, started finding my love for glass, and I just started collecting pieces. Came back to Gainesville 3 years later and had a pretty avid collection. And then over the next 2 years while I was in Gainesville, came up with the idea of Swamp City because unfortunately I wasn't going to be able to do what I was doing in California and was own and operate a small dispensary. So I decided to pivot and go the CBD and hemp route, and that's how Swamp City was born. And a lot of pieces that I had collected in California, I never even used because they were just that statement pieces. And I've always wanted to have a gallery and a dispensary, but couldn't do the dispensary part. So we did essentially kind of like, and I applaud you for pushing that lingo as the, as the CBD dispensary down in Orlando, but that, we couldn't go the medical dispensary route. So we decided that we were going to, go the hemp dispensary route and do a lifestyle lounge. And I think we're still the only one that is incorporating beer and wine into that picture. It is tough to do, and that's part of the reason that we didn't do the tobacco products. So
yeah, you guys still don't do like kava or kratom or anything like that, right?
No.
Yeah, we don't either, and that's pretty typical for a store that sells glass or sells hemp. Or why don't you do it?
Well, because we're huge on the cannabis culture. Tony can talk a little bit more on it, but there's we have a stance. We're cannabis lounge. Everything we do down to the products we sell, everything is based off of cannabis use, love, or if anything in between. And Tony can touch on some more like the specifics of why we don't do it and the kind of properties of we have.
Is it like we're more about focusing on
it's actually about
Tony?
I was gonna say what it's about for us is literally if it affects our body is made, we come with an endocannabinoid system, right? Our bodies are designed to use cannabis. We don't come with an opiate system. We don't come with a cocaine system. We don't come equipped with these things for our body to take those as medicines and regulate them. I think the reason why cannabis is not addictive like that is because we have a system designed for it. we don't have this systems designed for tobacco, kratom, kava, these things. If it has a potential to do harm, our first priority is we're a safe space and we're not trying to harm anybody. Now, I know kava and kratom have uses to help wean people off of other things, but those products still do affect the brainstem, which means there's a potential for accidents and things like that. We, first and foremost, we're a safe place. And more importantly, in order to do things right, we have to accept, kind of like doctors and nurses and stuff like that with their Hippocratic oath. First, we have to do no harm. And that's really why we take that stance.
Cool. You know, I like the idea also of focus. You know, there's you're trying to promote one thing. You know, if you promote three different things, the message gets lost.
Yeah.
So
you
know, it's not about carrying what sells.
Yeah.
You know, I know that especially in this business, carrying e-liquid nicotine and carrying, like, hi, Tyler's daughter. So carrying liquid nicotine, carrying kava, carrying kratom can you know, really put, you know, a big bump in your sales. And you know, it's not necessarily about that. It's about, you know, it is about making money, but it's about making money the right way and focusing on what you love. And yeah, I applaud you guys.
Well, you know,
it's you know, it's hard, and I know Tony can attest to it. You know, there in the beginning, you know, with any company, you know, you're still figuring things out, and you know, we haven't been in business for 20 years by any means, but you know, you figure a lot out in 3 years, especially being a small business. That was the hardest thing to do, is stick to our guns. Not look at other people who were making money hands over fists and be like, you know what, we need to do what they're doing. We need to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's honestly like the hardest part. I did. But yeah, that's you know, the hardest part about doing that is not being swayed and sticking to your guns, and like you said, sticking with what you're passionate about. But if you stay with what you're passionate about, it shows, because you know, we started selling tobacco and kava and kratom and all these other things. I mean, we would sell them, but we're not passionate about them, and it would show. You know, so. Yeah, you got to be the best at what you do. You can't be doing thousands of different things. If you're the best at what you do, the business will come. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, your daughter's gotten pretty big. Yeah, she is turning 3 September 21st, and she is growing like a bean. You want to say hi, Bella? But yeah, and then she has the same birthday as Tony, so we every year we have a, you know, big birthday for them. So but she's obviously a lot of the motivation behind what we do at Swamp City, you know, to make something, you know, legit and something that the community can all, you know, we want to be that pillar in our community. So a green pillar, but a pillar. Very cool.
Tyler, I want to just pause for a second and kind of dwell on that. You know, you're a family man, you know, you got a kid, and so often the proponents of prohibition, the people who are against cannabis, will try and use the kids as a political bargaining tool. And the reason I bring it up is because just this week in the Journal of Cognitive Development, a study was done with an international team of investigators from Canada, France, Germany, Ireland, and the U.S. And they examined the relationship between adolescent marijuana use at age 14 and their cognitive performance at age 19. And I'm stating this study not because I'm advocating for kids to use cannabis, but the fact that so often we've been told, this is your brain on drugs. And marijuana fries your brain. But in fact, this international team of folks studied these kids, and they found that there's no evidence to support the presumption that cannabis consumption leads to a decline in neurocognitive ability. And there have been other studies of pregnant women in Jamaica, which has shown that that their kids, when they utilized cannabis in utero, were actually smarter, had better response times than the ones who didn't. And so, taking away and chipping away from the propaganda that has been pushed out in this country for the last 50 years in regards to cannabis is so important. And it's amazing that, like you said, you can leave your daughter this legacy. One day she'll be running Swamp City, Yeah. And that it brings value not just to the community through patients having a safe space, but this week also an analysis came out from Clever Real Estate that says marijuana legalization correlates with higher home values, and that between April 2017 and April 2021, property values actually rose $17,000 more in states where recreational adult use marijuana is legal than the states that have illegal or limited or medical use. So, I mean, we're seeing California, Colorado, Nevada, Oregon, Washington State with booming real estate prices, and we're seeing states like Florida and others where you're not getting as much equity in your home, because people want to live in a safe place and have that peace of mind. Big companies want want their workers to be able to have safe and reliable access, and that's our mission at Suncoast NORML, is to continue to fight until every single person has safe and reliable access. Every responsible cannabis user can have that peace of mind, and that's where we still see the fight moving forward.
Yeah, and it's crazy that in today's day and age, with 30-something plus states, and then in medical and all over the nation, that you're still seeing people uproot their lives and move to other states just for safe access. You're still seeing essentially cannabis refugees, whether they be for relief of their self or their younger individuals. Especially for younger individuals, it's frowned upon in non-legal or strictly medical states. So they go to states where they don't have to be discriminated against, and it's crazy that people are still having to do that. But yeah, to touch on what you were saying, I also have a lot of people know my oldest. She's sleeping right now, but she'll be 16 the end of this month. So I've got a 16-year-old, and she has recently said that she wants to go get a business degree so she can help run Swamp City. That's something that, at the end of the day, it's what I'm doing. That's ultimately these two are the reason I'm doing it.
Could you imagine her like 30 years from now? She's like, 30 years ago, my pappy started Swamp City and left this legacy to me.
Yeah.
But my question is, Carlos, why does Tyler's daughter sound like Scarlett O'Hara? You're killing me with the accent.
Yeah, this is Florida. I don't think that's the right accent, bro.
It's because living in Tampa, I think everybody that lives in Florida outside of Tampa and Miami sound like they're from the South.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, why I do declare Swamp City has the finest glass on the side of the Mississippi.
That is probably the most accurate statement I've heard today, Carlos. That's probably right.
Yeah, it's but yeah, having an open dialogue with young individuals and not hiding. I've never hid my cannabis use or my love for cannabis from my family or from my kids. And I think once other people start to do that, it's important that the newer generation, we not only normalize within the industry, but we have to normalize it within our own homes as well. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm an advocate, and then go home and smoke in the closet and hide it from me. So I'm not saying smoke around the kids, but I'm just saying that be honest about what you're doing and the lifestyle you live.
Well, Tyler, so often when we talk about mom and pop businesses getting into the cannabis industry, you and yours are exactly what we're talking about. This cartel structure that exists in Florida where only multimillionaires can get in. where you have to buy, several senators and representatives and have someone with the governor's ear, to get a license. That's a system that we can't abide, because it's a system that creates undesirable outcomes for patients. Patients consistently will send pictures or complain about mold in their products. And we know that small mom and pop businesses like yourself oftentimes can get it right, because as you said before, it's about focusing on doing something very well rather than trying to crank out a product for a profit.
Shit, I think we've already seen that here in Florida. I mean, we have a system that's based off of, we gave these guys a license because these are the guys that can handle it. And there was
the most money in their pocket, honestly. I mean, I know now they're going to prioritize the next 15 for minority and black ownerships, and that's a good thing. But I mean, that's the reason Swamp City's not a dispensary. It's because it was a $70,000 application fee, and I had to have millions of dollars, and I had to have an agricultural licensee 10 years current in my pocket, and I had to own all the property, and it's impossible for a mom and pop shop to do.
We've seen the big guys come in, and they're the guys with all the money, and they, apparently have the expertise and the ability to do this, and they've failed. They're selling mold to patients.
That's it. They have the money.
They're fucking up.
They have the money, and that was it. And you see it more.
Yeah.
And then you see guys who have enough money. I don't want to say any names, but some of the biggest companies in Florida have enough money to fail, and they continue to fail. But just because they have so much money and so many locations, and they have essentially a stranglehold on the market, that they can continue to fail and just bounce back and and hire new employees and fire new, and then just continue to do what they do. And nobody's in it. There's no competitive market. So in a truly competitive market, the cream will rise to the top. But there's no competition right now. So.
I know that is truly the answer. Like we have a bunch of people with money that claim to know what they're doing that failed. So we need a bunch of people that actually know what they're doing, even though they don't have the fucking money to compete against each other to see who's the best. Yeah. Who can take care of the most patients most responsibly, not who has, what I mean? I don't know. I get pissed off about it too, Tyler.
The scariest thing to me is how many of these people that are their master growers at these legal centers haven't really had no history with cannabis, didn't know nothing. They went to college, they got a degree in horticulture, and they're getting these jobs running major level grows. In my opinion, that's the main reason why we're seeing so much crap. They say they can't hire people, honestly, like myself, that has grown a lot of cannabis. Why? Because I don't have a resume I can present.
Yeah.
My resume was on a hillside in the trees where nobody could see me, trying not to get caught. But if I get, or worse, the resume that we can actually use is our arrest records. But you've been arrested, so we can't work for you. What the hell?
Wait, Tony, you never wrote down your criminal activity?
I didn't think it was a wise thing to, do that stuff. I learned from other people's mistakes and movies, so no journals, no paper trails.
How many times a day does somebody come into the shop and try to show you pictures of the pot plants that they're growing?
Oh, it happens
all the time.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And it's and you're thinking, you're like, oh, so they used to work at a dispensary or in a legal state, and then you're like, oh, that's your backyard.
Yeah. And then you're like, wait a minute. I feel there's been times when I've tried to coach these guys. I was like, listen, man, when you do something illegal, it's probably not a good idea to tell a complete stranger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how my dad got busted back in the 70s. He was hitting on this girl that he liked. He was trying to brag her about his grow, and apparently she had a boyfriend who was a TPD officer. And then my grandmother's house gets raided, and I remember him telling me the story. He was trying to throw the plant over the alley into the next person's backyard, and it got stuck on the fence.
That's good.
But hearing that story galvanized me at such a young age, because here I am as a kid. My dad has worked 3 jobs and busted his ass to put me through private school to give me a better life than he had. He lost his dad at 13, so to have a dad there, it's what he wanted to do. And to hear that story at such a young age, it's like, wow, the police came and treated my dad like a criminal. For what? For growing medicine? That never sat well with me, and it still doesn't to this day, which is, one of my motivating factors. My dad has always been someone who, was a driving motivation to see this happen. And there are so many other families out there who have loved ones that are sick and need access to this medicine. And because of the law, they're afraid. And we live in a society where for the last 50 years, we've been brainwashed politically that law and order is the proper way of society. But laws are unjust. Slavery was once the law. You couldn't vote if you didn't own property was once the law. And a lot of us are still renting, So I don't think that's right, that we should be.
Everybody shook their head at the same time. They're like, yep. Times are hard.
So I just have to applaud you, gentlemen, for taking a stance of bravery and also to having the integrity to do what you do. Because as Tony pointed out, there are so many folks out there who will get in this industry for clout. As Tyler pointed out, there's so many folks out there that want to get in this industry for profit, but to do it for the people. And I've said it in plenty of seminars, you can make money in this industry, but remember that the clients you're serving are sick people. And if you can keep that as your guide star, then we'll be able to continue to move forward in the right way.
Yeah.
So guys, here's the thing. It's come to the point in the show where, both our organizations have events that we want to plug. So before we get to that point in the show, let's do a little negotiation. What's up with the NORML event in Swamp City? What's up?
Hey,
Bring your ass up.
we got the space now, man. We got more space than we've ever had before.
I still haven't seen the new place. I still haven't seen the new place.
So just to put long story short, so we went from 1,700 square foot to 5,000 square feet almost.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, and then we still got a courtyard in the back. We still got our medical space. We just don't have a cool mulberry tree in the back anymore, but we still got we've still got the courtyard. We got, like Tony said, privacy fences up so you can safely medicate in the courtyard. We have our event space in the back where we host live bands and music. We have a stage in the courtyard as well. Then we have the bar and then the little arcade area in there with the N64 and foosball and stuff like that, and board games. And then we've got the huge glass gallery with the CBD lounge up front. And we're going to be starting the dab bar back up probably next week. Ray Shakes, the glass artist out of Orlando, is making our dab bar rigs right now. It should be done in the next week or so. And
nice. I can't wait to see the new rigs.
Yeah, we went the hookah route so we could use the disposable mouthpieces. Because of the world we live in right now. Trying to keep everything safe. So we decided that, the old style, what we used to be doing, just having the rig and wiping the mouthpiece with the alcohol probably wasn't the best way to go. So we went the large rig that sits on the base that holds a lot of water, so it's hard to tip over. And then it has the removable hookah whip, so you can put the disposable mouth tips on it.
Very cool. And when's your grand opening?
Grand opening
or re anniversary of the grand opening?
Grand anniversary.
Yeah, the grand anniversary opening is 28th. So August 28th.
August 28th.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's going to be all day. It's the third annual anniversary bash. We have tons of live music, everything from rock, punk, hip hop,
EDM.
Yeah, EDM. We have the night before, we have a huge EDM night. Grow Op is going to be hosted there. So the night before is going to be packed as well. And that's August 27th. And then we're going to be collaborating with them on the 28th. And we've got live art. We're going to have live glass blowing like we always do. And we'll have discounts all day for all the attendees. And we just want to have everybody out, try and get everybody out to have a good party. We haven't had a big party in, like I said, in a year and a half.
It's going to be a big deal. I mean, we even got I mean, some people came out of the woodwork to help sponsor this thing. I mean, we got. I mean, just to drop it, if you don't mind me dropping. I mean, literally, the Relief Clinic is, Move, LHS, different people are like, damn, they're doing stuff again. Let's get in there. So not only are we doing things, but other people are. So you're going to be able to come here and not only enjoy all the entertainment and stuff we brought, but we're going to have a ton of people representing the cannabis culture, cannabis, legal cannabis, all of it here. So it's like a day of fun, family, entertainment, and you're definitely going to go home way more educated than you walked in.
Yeah.
Unless you smoke a whole lot too that day, which,
Before your grand opening happens, we actually have an event that you guys can come and visit us with. But again, Restream software is screwing up, so we got to do kind of like a cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Tom
So
G.
just hold it up, Carlos. I'll do the voiceover.
Cool.
So Suncoast NORML's Got Talent, the hottest talent showcase in the Bay Area. You want to come out. It is July 30th in Ybor City at the Crowbar. Shout out to celebrity guest judge Tom G, hosted by funny comedian Rio Paris, who you may have seen on Netflix and Side Splitters and the Improv. Look, if you have a talent and you want to showcase it for the cannabis movement, this is your opportunity. Whether you're an artist, whether you're a singer, dancer, maybe you have an oddity that you can show, an odd talent. By all means, talent entries, whether solo or team, are available right now on suncoastnorml.org. And of course, if you want to get your general admission tickets before prices go up at the door, get them early, get in. We also have vendor opportunities available. So if you have a business, you want to set up shop on the patio at the event, contact us, email us, hit us up on our website.
We'll have to. That's where we fall in right there. The vendor opportunities.
We love setting up, showing off our glass. So
we'd love to have you, and it's going to be a hell of a night. We'd love to party with you guys.
Well, we'll get the details after the show. We'll get the details and everything. See if we've got any events going on. If we don't, we'll definitely, a couple of us will come down and set up shop.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Is there anything else you need to tell the peoples?
No. So, if you want to stay up to date with all of our events, we do events every weekend at the Swamp. We have food trucks and live music pretty much every weekend. We have a minimum of the Puerto Rican food truck El Punto is there every Friday. We trade off
arroz con gandules.
Yes.
Orale.
And we got if you want to stay up to date on all of that stuff, Instagram is at Swamp City Gallery Lounge. Facebook is at Swamp City Gallery Lounge. We do most of our event pages on Facebook. You go to our events tab and you can see most of the events coming up for the next 2 months. Some events pop up periodically. So just make sure you stay up to date on the events tab. We do a lot of stuff. And that's, another way of us giving back to the community and trying to get people out and get people together. August 28th, the big show, the big anniversary bash, and any day of the week, 7 days a week, 11 to 11 on Thursdays, 2 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. If y'all want to come out and check out the shop, 716 North Main Street, we've got a safe space, free Wi-Fi, and either myself, Tony, or Javier, or Destiny are always there. And, we welcome everybody with open arms.
Tyler, I got to say, I appreciate you all creating a safe space. You and Tony and all the folks at Swamp City, I got to give a shout out to the safe space you've also created for our veteran community. And thank you for everything that you do for our vets who've given so much and need cannabis to medicate, to heal those scars that are both seen and unseen after their service.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we offer veteran discounts across the board. We work
every day, not just a couple times a year, every damn day.
Yeah.
They deserve it every day. They served every day.
What's your discount?
Right now it's 15%, but it goes up depending on but it's 15% across the board. But then, obviously it goes up on Veterans Day or any holidays or anything like that.
Yeah. Very cool.
So,
Very
The veteran discount is one of the only discounts that's stackable with other discounts. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so,
wow.
So if you come in and you're like, something's already discounted that day, you can get your veterans discount on top of that. So.
Oh, wow. That's a really good. You're losing money.
well,
sometimes we break even, but
yeah. With
you
That's
tell
good.
me. In all honesty, if it was up to me, every veteran that comes in here to get stuff, they can come in and pick it, and I should be able to send them the government, let the government pay for it like they should. They should be taking care of everything these guys need.
Yeah.
So at least we can take the biggest burden off of them as much as we can.
Yeah. We work a lot with the Weed for Warrior project. I know you guys work with them as well. Shout out to Jimmy Johnston and all of them, North Florida chapter, the Miami chapter, Brendan and everybody. But we work a lot with all the Weed for Warrior projects, any veteran organization. If you have an NPO or any veteran organization that you want to drop off some info at the shop, we've got a bulletin board in the community spot. You can drop off info.
And guys, if you want to join Suncoast NORML, where do you go, Kano?
Look, suncoastnormal.org is our website. Members get exclusive discounts. Our Suncoast NORML members, if you show your membership card when you go into Chillum, you get a 25% discount. So, Carlos, thank you for creating that space for our members. But, of course, also we have such amazing events for our members. Some of our members, most recent ones, came about the Best Blunt in the Bay Festival, which we had in April. Now we have the Suncoast NORML's Got Talent Showcase coming up at the end of this month. And we're going to, as you heard today, be collaborating with Swamp City Gallery and Lounge to make sure that we can continue to push the cannabis culture forward here. And so if you're not already a member of Suncoast NORML, understand that by joining today, your membership dues, all the proceeds we put back into the organization, we put back into our advocacy for legalization efforts. Carlos and I don't take one red penny to do this. We volunteer our time, and many times we're paying money out of our own pockets to continue to push the mission forward. And that's because we care so much about the people of Florida and what they're going through and what 50 years of prohibition has really done for folks. And it really goes beyond that. I mean, marijuana has been something that's been a target of the government, going all the way back to the 30s. And we have to continue to do better, elect better politicians. And that is why it is so important that as a membership-based organization that you join, because you as the members drive our public policy discourse. You drive where you want to see this organization go and how you want to create a responsible cannabis culture in the state of Florida.
Guys, thanks for joining us today. We've come to the end.
It was 57 minutes. It didn't feel like 57 minutes.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about this show is it's really just buddies talking. So love you guys. Thanks for joining us in the rotation, everybody. Bye.